My Cadet zero-turn tractor won't start all of a sudden. Tested the battery and it's fully charged. Replaced the starter solenoid and still not starting. Before replacing the solenoid, when I turned the key I would hear one click. Now, with new solenoid, I hear a click, but it sounds different and it's coming from another area on the tractor. It's more like an electrical click.
When did you last clean or perform maintenance on your Cadet tractor? How old is it?
Fully serviced 2 summers ago. DOM is 2007.
How long has this been going on with your Cadet tractor? What have you tried so far?
Today is the first day. It has ran fine and started fine. I tested battery and replaced the starter solenoid.
Anything else we should know to help you best?
Don't know what else I can tell you.
Hi, my name is Me. Review the issue, and I will be more than happy to help resolve it as quickly as possible. I will return in under 5 minutes. You should hear the click of the fuel solenoid when the key is turned one turn. After that there should not be a click except for the starter. Sounds like you have a faulty safety switch if nothing is happening. You can try jumping the solenoid and see if engine turns over.
Okay, but I was told I would get a phone call. Been waiting for over 3.5 hours.
Sorry, I am not seeing a phone call requested. Phone calls can be made, but they are approximately $25. We can solve it here through chat.
She said it would be free since I waited so long.
I apologize, but I do not have a phone call on my screen. I am just an independent expert, service tech/shop owner, that assist here at times with repair assistance. I will be more than happy to help you through here, or I can opt out and see if they assigned a phone call to someone else.
No, we can try it here.
Being as you have replaced all of the starter components and it is still not responding, it sounds like there is a safety switch that is not working properly. A faulty safety switch will cause the mower not to start. You will need to test them with a multimeter to determine the bad one. You can bypass things for testing purposes. You can jump the solenoid and see if engine turns over. If so, then you will need to start testing the switches. I would recommend starting with the seat switch as it is the most common one to go bad.
When I tried to start it today, it turned over and seemed to get stuck or something. Turned key off and tried again. Heard one click, then nothing. Again tried and one click. All indications were the solenoid. Replaced the solenoid and now hear more of a tick, not a click, and it's coming, it seems from somewhere else on the tractor. Tested battery and it's fully charged. Had been starting and running fine prior to today.
Can you spin the top of the motor by hand? Remove top cover over engine and make sure starter is not hung up on the flywheel. Do you have jumper cables available?
Where is the seat switch? I do have cables and tried that earlier. I'll try turning the flywheel.
Under the seat. You will see wires running to it. Turn the flywheel. If it moves, attach red cable to your battery and the other red cable end to the red on the starter. See if it spins over.
Customer attachment May 31, 2023 04 and 52 seconds AM. How do I take of this second cover?
Can you turn the engine over by hand as you have it there?
Customer attachment May 31, 2023 08 and 35 seconds AM. Cannot turn it by hand.
Remove the spark plugs and try it again. Sounds like starter is locked on flywheel or crankcase is filled with fuel/oil mix and hydrolocked.
It doesn't use fuel/oil mix.
I know, but if the carb does not seal off, the fuel will flow into the crankcase into the oil and cause the engine to lock. Remove spark plugs and try and turn. Anything come out of spark plug holes when removed?
Okay, give me a minute.
Okay.
Nothing came out of plug hole. Still won't turn.
Remove the engine cover and see if starter is jammed on the flywheel. Beginning to sound like the engine is locked up. How much oil is in the engine? Bolts that hold the engine cover on are along the sides. 3/8 of an inch or 10 millimeters to remove.
It's full. Customer attachment May 31, 2023 32 and 56 seconds AM.
Move the starter cover and see if starter is jammed on flywheel. If not, you will need to try and get a better turn on the flywheel without cover on. If it still will not move, opening the engine may be needed. When you get cover off, look around flywheel for a bolt sticking up in the flywheel. These engines are bad about a bolt coming loose and jamming the flywheel also.
Could this be why I can't turn the flywheel? How do I remedy?
Possibly, can you move the starter gear? Loosen starter so it will drop down and try and move flywheel.
How do I loosen it? With the nuts on the sides.
Remove nut circles in red.
Remove or loosen.
Loosening should allow it to drop some.
Okay, now I can move flywheel. With some resistance. Is that normal?
Will be easier at times. Do you have plugs in the engine again?
Tighten it back, cogs fit now. Only has one plug and yes, it's connected again.
Reinstall everything and try to turn it over by using the key now.
Okay, I'll be back with you.
Not a problem.
Still only a tick of sound. It's a different sound than with the old solenoid, which was more of a click. I'll send you pic of old part and new part, and maybe you can tell me if I made a mistake with the installation of the new part.
Okay.
First pic is old one, second is new one.
Sounds like that starter is coming upwards to engage and sticking. The new install looks like the connects are not as tight or solid connected.
I use the 1/4 of an inch terminal connection since the nuts on the old one fit. It just has a nut on top and bottom of the terminal. The connection is tight. Should I try the 5/16 of an inch method?
Long as it's tight, it shouldn't matter as long as the contact is good. Hate to say it, but check and see if starter is jammed again.
I can still move the flywheel. Any other suggestions? John.
Try powering the starter directly as we talked about previously.
Hi John, Yes, I did that last night and again just now. Both times the flywheel or crank turned. There were a lot of sparks though. What do you think I can try next? Is that what is expected by powering the starter? John, can you please tell me if you are still engaged with this case?
Yes, I am here. Try jumping the solenoid now and seeing it will engage the starter. You are losing power somewhere in the wire.
Jump it with a screwdriver.
Yes. Both plugs in engine again?
There's only one plug that I found as I mentioned last night, right in the middle in the back of the engine. If there is another one, it hasn't been unplugged.
Okay, yes, you have the single-cylinder Kohler engine.
Okay, just did that and motor turned over. The key was still in the off position. Put it in the on position, it tried then stopped completely. No connectivity it seems now. Fried the end of the screwdriver. Customer attachment May 31, 2020 11:38 and 14 seconds p.m.
Can you still turn flywheel? Now when you try and jump solenoid, nothing is happening? What is battery voltage? May have burnt up solenoid if held too long to jump.
Customer attachment May 31, 2020 11:46 and 43 seconds p.m.
When you turn the key to start, what is the voltage on the starter side of the solenoid?
Sorry, red lead on starter side. Where do I place black lead?
Ground to machine or neg. Battery terminal.
Keep it on 12 volts. Still says 12.56.
So you are getting power through solenoid. Check power at the red wire attached to the starter now. Should read the same. If so, starter is problem.
It reads virtually 0 with red lead on starter and black lead on neg battery terminal.
So the red wire from the solenoid to the starter is bad. You have 12 plus volts on the wire when key is turned on the solenoid side, but not the starter side.
If that's the case, then why did it turn over when I jumped the solenoid? And the key was not on the on position when I put the red lead on the starter side of the solenoid and the black lead on the neg terminal of the battery. Just checked again and still reads 12.5 on the off, on, or start positions on the solenoid.
Not sure, hard to say without seeing. But if you have power to both the poles of the solenoid, and no power at the starter when you turn the key to the start position, the issue would be between the starter side of solenoid and the starter. Are you turning the key to start, or just on?
Start position on the starter side of solenoid reads 0.
Something has to be wrong with the wire. If you have power on one side, you should have power on the other as the power travels from one end to the other, but it is not traveling.
You mentioned in your last text before this one that I have power to both poles of the solenoid. I checked, as I said check the starter side of the solenoid but reading was 0. If the starter side of the solenoid was getting power, wouldn't it have a reading? I really apologize for being a pain, but I'm just eager to fix this machine.
Oh okay, I thought you meant you had 0 on the starter. When you turn the key to start and 0 on solenoid, and it will not jump, the solenoid inside may have broken when being jumped. Try jumping it again and see what happens.
Okay.
Where are you located?
Okay, just tried jumping with no response in all switch positions. I'm located in Carmel, Indiana, just north of Indy.
Sounds like the solenoid came apart internally so it can no longer be jumped to make contact.
Would it be worth a try to put the old solenoid back on and try jumping that?
Yeah, you can try that since you have it.
Do you think I should replace the wire between the starter and starter side of the solenoid first? Then attach to old solenoid?
No, not if you didn't have power on the start side of solenoid to start with. I misunderstood previously.
I'm still trying to understand the underlying problem.
Sounds like the solenoid was weak and caused starter to jam. Hard to tell without seeing in person honestly.
Okay. I'll try a couple of things tomorrow and get back with you if that's okay. You've been great.
That will be fine. I own a shop, so I may not be available right away, but I check in often. Thank you for the opportunity to assist you today. Thank you again, John.
Curious on why you ask where I'm located. And where are you located?
I am in East Tennessee. Was just curious if we were in the same time zones or not.
We're on EST. Are you Central?
No, I am EST as well.
Hi John, I just put in a brand new solenoid and there is no power to the starter side of the solenoid when I put positive on that side of solenoid and negative on negative terminal on the battery. Battery side still reads over 12.5. Customer attachment June 1, 2027 07:05 p.m. John, should I expect to see a reading on the multimeter from the starter side of the new solenoid when the battery side shows a strong reading?
When you turn the key to start the machine, you should get the same voltage on both sides of the solenoid.
Still 0 reading on starter side and 12.55 on battery side. Battery side shows same reading when key is in the off position. Assume that's normal.
Ignition switch would be the only other factor.
Is there a way to check the ignition switch? If I replace the ignition switch, you think that would solve the overall problem?
Hard to tell honestly. Without seeing electrical it is difficult. You can test continuity from the terminals.
Can you tell me how to do that PLS? Where do I put the leads and what setting do I put the multimeter on? Customer attachment June 2, 2021 21:35 a.m.
Put it on the sound symbol, right above the bat. Different switch, but tests the same way. https://www.google.com/search Q equals HAL plus to plus test plus mower plus ignition plus switch and RLZ equals 1C1 GGRV underscore ENIS 895S 895 and OAK equals HAL plus to plus test plus mower plus ignition plus switch plus and AX equals Chrome.69I57J0L7.6719J0J4 and source ED equals Chrome and E equals UTF-8 hash KP Valks equals underscore 9K and VXVXT EEAGGGF0 or Z 28. Go to 825 of the video.
Is the switch underneath the key connected to a bunch of wires?
Yes, it is. Should just unplug.
Customer attachment June 2, 2021 35:20 a.m.
One on the left in the picture. Then you will have to remove the switch. May have tabs to push inwards to release.
Okay, I removed the switch. Video shows connecting B to the S. I don't have clips for my multimeter. Will the leads do the same? Just broke the tip off the red lead of my multimeter trying to do this with 2 hands. Pissed at myself. Can I get it tested at like an AutoZone or similar place? Tried putting leads in the holes on switch with one hand and turn key with other hand. It moved on me and the tip snapped off.
I am not sure if they will do this or not. I would find a small engine repair shop near you.
Well, in a perfect world, I guess. I tried taking both solenoids, old one and new one that I may have fried, to the only authorized Cub Cadet service place in my area, and they said it would be a couple of days since they were so busy. I thought that was a bit extreme, but anyway, I bought a new one. I went back there after no success on the new solenoid and 0 meter reading on the starter side. They said they'd ask one of their mechanics and call me. They did call me and their mechanic said it was probably a safety switch issue.
Could be, but you should be able to jump solenoid even with a bad safety switch.
Remember, I did that and motor did turn over. But that was when the switch was off. Tried again with switch in the on position and it responded for a second then stopped. You mentioned I may have fried the new solenoid I got on Saturday. Afraid to fry another one. Having to do that would not solve the underlying issue.
Hard to tell and test things without though. You can remove all safety switches and test them for continuity.
Are you saying I should try and jump the solenoid again?
That or power the starter directly.
Are you saying power the starter with jumper cables? Red on battery, another red on starter.
Yes, with key on and brake locked. See if machine will start.
I remember the last time there were a lot of sparks. Is that normal?
Yes.
Okay, John, I'll try that later when I can get back to working on it. I'll let you know.
Okay.
John, just to be clear. When I tried jumping the starter, I put the red cable on positive on battery, then use the other end of red cable to touch the red connection on the starter. Do I connect the black cables to anything?
Not as using your battery.
Not sure what you mean.
Are you using your battery to connect the cables to? Or another battery?
I was going to use the battery that's on the mower.
Yes, red to starter, no ground is needed.
It's okay to use battery that's on the mower for other red cable.
Yes, red cable from mower battery to the starter.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.